Good morning, Bacon Academy. Coming up on today's show, a new assistant principal, the Supreme Court rules on DNA patents, and after a year, we say goodbye. All that and more now on our final episode of the Bacon Academy Student News. Today is June 14th, 2013. I'm Bernie Denler.
And I'm Matt McAllister.
Bacon Academy has announced that Neil Kurland will be taking over as an assistant principal in a .8 position next year as a replacement for Mr. Hughes, who will be reduced to a .2 position for the 2013-2014 school year as he takes a one-year sabbatical to pursue his doctorate. Kurland, who was selected from a pool of 17 applicants, has 33 years of special education experience. Hughes is set to return full-time in July 2014.
Yesterday, the Supreme Court announced its ruling in a case involving the patenting of genetic code. In a unanimous decision, the court ruled that naturally occurring DNA cannot be patented, reversing years of decisions made by the Patenting and Trademark Office, which had been granting patents on such code. In its decision, the court said that naturally occurring DNA is a product of nature and is not eligible for patents simply because it has been isolated. The court did rule, however, that synthetic DNA or modified DNA can be patented. Authorities on Thursday said that a veteran examiner who surveyed a downtown building weeks previous to its collapse, which killed 6 people, was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound a week after the accident. Ronald Wagenhofer was found in his pickup truck around 9 p.m. Wednesday with a gunshot wound to his chest. Deputy Mayor Everett Gillison said that Wagenhofer had inspected the building May 14th and signed off on demolition work underway after getting complaints about the site from the public. This was weeks before the vacant building collapsed onto a neighboring store, killing 2 employees and 4 customers and injuring 13 others.
A top commander of a Nazi SS-led unit, accused of burning villages filled with women and children, lied to American immigration officials to get into the United States and has been living in Minnesota since shortly after World War II, according to evidence uncovered by the Associated Press. Michael Karkock, 94, told American authorities in 1949 that he had performed no military service during World War II, concealing his work as an officer and founding member of the SS-led Ukrainian Self-Defense Legion and later as an officer in the SS Galician Division, both of which were on a secret American government blacklist of organizations whose members were forbidden from entering the United States at the time. Even after multiple requests from a variety of news agencies, Karkock refused to partake in any news interview regarding his wartime actions. "I don't think I can explain," he stated.
Turning to world news, the White House has announced that it will supply direct military aid to Syria after concluding that the Syrian regime is using chemical weapons. The UK government has still not decided whether to arm Syrian opposition, but it does recognize that measures should be taken to force Syrian President Bashar al-Assad into negotiating. Foreign Secretary William Hague welcomed the U.S. assessment of Syria's chemical weapon use and insists that the international community, quote, must be prepared to do more than save lives and put pressure on the Syrian regime.
Iran's ruling theocracy was unable to overcome its notorious infighting and unite behind a single candidate in Friday's presidential election. This result has boosted the prospects of the single moderate in the race and has revived interest among some who'd planned to boycott the election. Since the withdrawal of Mohammad Reza earlier this week, Hassan Rouhani is the only candidate not thoroughly devoted to the religious hierarchy under Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Rouhani is now seen as having a shot at emerging high enough in the 6-candidate field to advance to the June 21st runoff. He offers voters who are tired of Iran's ravaged economy and international isolation a viable alternative to the status quo.
Rescue workers in the Philippines have managed to save the lives of 54 passengers and crew members of a ferry that sank early this morning. The vessel crashed 1 mile from the shore of the Albay province in the center of the Philippines while on its way to the nearby province of Masbate. Coast Guard and Navy watercrafts and helicopters were searching the area aided by local fishermen. 2 casualties have been reported and 5 persons are still unaccounted for. Officials estimate that 62 people were on board the boat when it sank. Thus far, the cause of the ferry's sinking is still unknown.
Turning to science news, the global death toll from a SARS-like virus, MERS, has risen to 33 after the World Health Organization identified 2 more fatalities in Saudi Arabia. Since September 2012, 58 laboratory-confirmed cases of MERS have been identified, with over half of them being fatal. Symptoms of the disease include lung infection, fever, and rapid kidney failure. The World Health Organization is warning that MERS could lead to a global crisis if it mutates and becomes more infectious.
Shenzhou 10, the Chinese space capsule which launched earlier in the week, successfully docked with China's Tiangong. The astronauts aboard Shenzhou 10, including China's second female astronaut, are set to spend 12 days aboard the National Space Station. The astronauts intend to conduct lessons that will be streamed to classrooms in China, including experiments in how objects move in microgravity.
That's all for today and this year, as this is the final episode of the Bacon Academy Student News of the 2012-2013 school year, and thus the final episode that we will personally participate in.
We started the BASN this September to expand Bacon's journalism courses and to provide the student body with the most relevant news possible. Although the journey has not always been easy, from various technological difficulties to missing staff members, we have worked tirelessly to make the BASN the highest quality newscast that we could.
So thank you to everyone who made this possible.
Mr. Matt, Mr. Duquette, Mr. Anastasio, Mr. Peterson, and of course, Lindsay, Kelsey, Lexi, Trey, Zach, and Alexa. And good luck to next year's team. And now, for the last time, I'm Bernie Denler.
And I'm Matt McAllister,
Signing off.